I'm Jonas Vingegaard, and welcome to the Cycling Dane.
Jonas Vingegaard has been the best rider in the past 2 years at the Tour de France, dominating his opposition and even dethroning Tadej Pogačar. However, in 2024, an unforeseen incident caused his whole season to be thrown into jeopardy, and in particular his defense of his Tour de France title. Many cycling fans fear that the dominating force of Jonas Vingegaard will never be seen again at the Tour de France. Anyways, before we start, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel here on the Cycling Dane, and make sure to comment down below what do you think of Vingegaard. The 2024 season began with optimism for not only Jonas Vingegaard but also the team, as they shifted from being Team Jumbo-Visma to Team Visma Bike, and their big star of recent years, Primož Roglič, had left the team to get out of the shadow of the ever-growing superstar of Jonas Vingegaard. So the team was entirely focused now for the third title for Vingegaard. The Dane began the year in a similar manner like his 2023 campaign, heading to the Spanish race, the Gran Camiño. The first stage was an individual time trial. However, due to complications with the weather, there was an apparent risk for the riders, so the organizers let the time trial go ahead as the weather became a bit better, but annulled the GC timings. So many riders went gently through the stage on the road bikes. Vingegaard did exactly this, and despite finishing more than 2 minutes down on the eventual winner of Josh Tarling, it was wiped clean off his GC record and returned to zero by the end of it. The next stage, Visma Bike, set a ferocious charge for the breakaway. Vingegaard nestled in the perfect position, attacked the bunch, with everyone scrambling to get on the Dane's wheel. Vingegaard looked around several times to gauge who was there, one of which was Egan Bernal, and with 1 kilometer left of the final climb of the day on a very wet stage, Vingegaard blasted the Colombian off his back wheel and went on to win the stage and took the leader's jersey. The next stage, Vingegaard attacked hard on the final climb, and none of the other riders were able to match the Dane, and he quickly caught up to the breakaway riders and delivered a masterclass on the wet descents and managed to win the stage with a sizable margin. The final stage was another bad weather day for the race, but once again, he managed to dispatch everyone on the final climb, the last man being Lenny Martinez, and thereby the Dane got his third victory of the race and claimed the overall. Tirreno-Adriatico was next on the agenda, a race that he was second place in 2022 to a very dominant Tadej Pogačar, but this time around it was a very different Vingegaard. Stage 1 was the unveiling of the monstrous time trial helmet, but it didn't seem to help Vingegaard enough to claim the win, as he finished 9th. But the big shift came on stage 5, where Visma Bike once again was trying to rip up the peloton. The Dane attacked on the final climb with 29 kilometers from the finish and managed to solo once again on the descent and hold the margin all the way to the finish, taking a 1 minute and 12-second lead. It was almost a carbon copy on the next stage, as once again on the final climb, it was Vingegaard who made the decisive attack and held off the chasers, extending his lead to 1 minute and 24 seconds, which became the final classification, as well as the final stage was a sprint stage, and thereby Vingegaard took the legendary trident and added another World Tour 1 week stage race to his palmarès. So Vingegaard was definitely in high spirits, with 2 for 2 in terms of stage races in 2024. From 2 available, was looking for the next challenge, which was another race that he had won in 2023 and dominated, in fact, the Tour of the Basque Country. However, there was a bit of a difference to the 2024 edition, as you would come up against not only Remco Evenepoel but also his former mentor and friend Primož Roglič. The opening time trial was another opportunity for that eyesore of a time trial helmet to be shown, and Vingegaard managed to finish 5th and sat nicely nestled in the GC battle. The next 2 stages he stayed out of trouble and was in the front group, but the turning point of the season for the Dane came on the very next stage, with about 36 kilometers from the finish on a descent. The front end of the favorites group crashed hard to the ground as they were coming towards a turn. Multiple riders came down, including Remco Evenepoel, Roglič and Jonas Vingegaard. They were all badly hurt, and the dramatic photo of Vingegaard on the ground circulated cycling fans around the globe. The cause for the crash seemed to be layered with a mix of the speed of the peloton, being a factor, but mainly the poor road surface, which seemed to be very bumpy because of roots. Vingegaard abandoned the race, and subsequently it was reported that he suffered a collapsed lung, broken ribs, and a broken collarbone following the nasty crash. He spent 12 days in the hospital before being discharged, and it was more than a month before pictures and video emerged of him back training. And here is what Vingegaard had to say.
This is the first time back on the bike for me, riding outside, and it's really nice to finally be able to ride like normal again, and finally to be able to ride on the road is really amazing, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking the next steps as well. I feel good. Yeah, it's improving day by day, and yeah, I still have some things to recover from, but it's going better and better. Of course, I hope to be there at the start of the Tour de France. We don't know exactly how my shape and how my recovery will go, but I will do everything I can to get there in my top shape.
After the fact that Vingegaard's health was not in a critical condition, the next thought for cycling fans around the world was whether we would ever see Vingegaard return to the lofty heights that he had set himself in the Tour de France. In recent times, there have been riders very badly affected by big crashes, such as Egan Bernal when he crashed on a training ride in Colombia in 2022, or even Chris Froome when he crashed in the 2019 Dauphiné, and both of these very traumatic incidents for the rider, and we've never really seen both riders on the same level. However, you could say that Bernal has really started to come back to his old form and has made a serious recovery since that crash, but that has still taken several years before we've seen the same kind of Egan Bernal. However, other riders such as Remco Evenepoel went through another disastrous traumatic incident, and that was the Lombardia crash in 2020, and he somewhat managed to bounce back the following year despite a premature Giro d'Italia debut for him, but he did win races in 2021, including the Tour of Denmark. And we've all seen what he's gone on to, winning a World Championship and the Vuelta a España. The team and Jonas himself should not put too much pressure on seeing him at the Tour de France this year and putting that pressure on him and giving him enough time to recover seriously so we don't see a shadow of himself at the race and it doesn't have unforeseen consequences on his form. And I think the focus should probably be 2025. That is easy to say, not being Jonas Vingegaard and a serious champion like he is, who wants to be competitive in all the biggest races and really win for his team. But this Melissa bike really need to give him as much time and no pressure to get back. And of course, this Melissa bike being one of the biggest and best teams in the world, we can surely see this. We hope it's not going to end up like Chris Froome, where his career goes downward, but rather such as Remco Evenepoel, where he managed to recover and does even better. However, Jonas Vingegaard, despite not crashing a lot on the World Tour, he has been in a similar position in 2017, where he didn't take part in many of the races as he broke his femur after a crash in the Tour de Fjords in Norway. So if he can come back from that, he can certainly come back from this as well and be even stronger and get that third Tour de France title that he so deserves. Anyways, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to let me know what you think of whether Vingegaard should go to the Tour de France or not if he's not 100% in form, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button here on the Cycling Dane, and if you want to check out his rise into the world of cycling, why not check out this video here or his first ever interview in English. Be sure to check that out. But with that, thank you very much for watching, and of course I will see you around.